Hi everyone, this is Annalisa, and in this video I want to show you how you can apply for a fee waiver on your immigration applications. So we're going to go and dive in, and I'll show you the steps that I normally do as a lawyer, as a solicitor, to apply and complete the application for a fee waiver, so that if you want to do it, then you can do it yourself by using this video, and you can pause and refer to it back later on. So at the time of recording this is August 2020, and the form should be the same. Fingers crossed it won't change for the next several months, because this is where the Home Office saves all the information online, and you'll be able to follow it just using this guide. Okay, let's go in. I'm going to share my video. I'm going to share my screen, and then you can see and follow me while we do it together. Okay, so here I am on Google. So I start on the Google search box. So I usually type in apply for fee waiver, and I will put UK. Okay, so I'll put UK to make sure that you don't end up in Australian website or Canadian website, because we don't know whether those countries also have fee waivers. So make sure you always have UK, or you might even put UK immigration just to be sure. Okay, so then you submit, and these are the search results. So what I would do is I would click on this one and see what it says. Okay, so here we are, applications for a fee waiver. And I think on this page, you will have this government UK visas and immigration guidance. Okay, so it says fee waiver, human rights based and other specified applications. And then it says it's guidance for UK visas and immigration staff on the circumstances in which applicants will qualify for a fee waiver in respect of certain types of leave to remain application. Now, that was quite a long description, wasn't it? But what I normally do as a lawyer, and I think if you're going to do your application yourself, is to read this and see what it says about eligibility of your application, whether or not you can apply, and what will be the Home Office look for when they receive your application. So you have some kind of idea what they're looking for. So you don't just submit any application and knowing that it's going to be rejected. So it'll be a waste of your time. It'll be a waste of the Home Office's time. And so it's best to read this first and see what it actually says. Now, I am not going to, I, I think I made a video showing what the Home Office will be looking for when you apply for fee waiver, and what the eligibility is when it comes to making the application. And so you can decide whether or not you are eligible and proceed to go ahead with your application. Okay, so that's just to tell you a little bit about fee waiver guidance from the Home Office, and it's there. Okay, now on this side here, it says related content. It says apply to extend in the UK as a partner or dependent child. Okay, so this is where if you're married to a British citizen, then or a settled person, or if you're a child and you also want to apply, then this is the form that you need to click. So I'm assuming that it's going to be you're extending your application in the UK. Okay, so you're extending your application in the UK, and at the same time, you have been granted 10-year under the 10-year route. Okay, so mostly applications for fee waiver are those under those categories. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. So this is for apply to extend your stay in the UK, FLRP, private life. Family and private life. Okay, so here we are. It says apply to extend your stay in the UK. Now, as you know, we have to do it online these days. You can't do it on paper form as before. And so this is the page where you can complete your form. As we are not going to complete the form itself, we need to complete the fee waiver application. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to check my eligibility because that's not, but I'm going to use the fee waiver application form. Okay, so do you know where to get that? Okay, so here, application online, and then the details, and then it says use fee waiver application form if you are destitute. So I'm going to click on that one. And here you can read what it says, requesting a fee waiver. So a fee waiver essentially will exempt you from paying the home office fees and also paying the immigration health surcharge, which, as you know, in October, it starts to go up. So if you are applying to extend after October, you will need to pay 1,560 altogether. Instead of currently, you need to pay only 1,000. So you need to find another 560 to pay for the immigration health surcharge if you're applying for just one application. And then the children applications are much less than that. I can't tell you from the top of my head, but it's less than the 1,600, 1,560 that you need to pay. Okay, so we're going to read this bit here because I want to make sure that you are with me. It's okay. So let's read this together. So it says, in some cases, if you cannot pay the fee for your application to remain in the UK because you are destitute or may become destitute as a result of paying the fee, you can use this form to request a fee waiver. So this one is, it sort of like indicates who are eligible, okay, who are eligible to apply for the fee waiver. So if you are destitute and or may become destitute, then you can use this form. Now, what does destitution means? You know, it's a very it's a word that the Home Office defines, and I think there's a recent case, I think few months back, where the court has actually confirmed that this destitution, their policy on fee waiver, breaches one of the laws to protect the children. So when you apply for your fee waiver, the court, the Home Office will need to look into consideration how the destitution affects the children. Okay. And when I say destitute, it means that you don't have, basically, you don't have any money, and then you have to set out your financial circumstances. So just because you say, well, I can't afford it, you know, Home Office, I can't afford these fees, but how do I show this to you that I can't afford it? Now, how you can't afford it if you can't pay the necessities. So for example, your husband has just been made redundant, you absolutely do not have any money, you have a lot of debt that you need to pay, and you barely can pay the rent and maybe have a little bit to pay for the food, but you need more money to pay for the bills. So what you need to do in these circumstances to show to the Home Office is to make a list of your income. So income means any money coming in, and then the expenses will be anything that goes out. So you will have to list how much rent you pay, how much council tax, how much food bill per month, how much travel costs, how much your, essentials like medicine prescriptions. Maybe you had to go to dentist, you know, your glasses expenses. So all these expenses, essential, they need to be listed on a sheet of paper, and then you have to show it to the Home Office that this is my income and these are the expenses. And hopefully, whatever you say on your income or whatever you say on your expenses will reflect on the bank statements, will show on the bank statements that last month you only earned, let's say, £1,000, and last month you had to pay rent of, 500, let's say 500 or 600. You had to pay food, all this food. You had to pay all the electricity, gas bill, the council tax, and all other food bill that you have to do. If you can show to the Home Office that the expenses, it's much more than your income, then that would indicate that you don't have any money to pay for the Home Office fees. Okay, I hope that's clear. So anyway, let's go further. It says you must submit this fee waiver request before applying to remain in the UK. You may start your leave to remain application online, but it should only be submitted after you have received a decision on your fee waiver request. So let me just state here. So you are going to be completing the form as well. So if you are extending your limited leave to remain, so you can start completing that application, but don't submit it, because if you submit it, then they will bill you for the full amount. So only submit it when you have already received a decision on your fee waiver request. So if it's a yes, then I'm assuming that you can put in your reference number when you submit the form, so that that will then tie up with the record, and it should calculate zero and you don't have to pay anything. Okay, and I'm saying I'm assuming because in the past it used to be paper application for fee waiver, and I've done one for a client, who was destitute, and she received it. Okay, but the online one I have not done, but I'm showing you where to find it and what the procedure is. Okay, so let's continue. It says you should include the same applicants in your fee waiver request as you will include in your leave to remain application. For example, a dependent partner or any dependent children. You may apply for a fee waiver on behalf of one or more of your dependents, even if you are not applying for a fee waiver for your application. This may be appropriate if you can pay some but not all of the fees for the applicants. So here it indicates that if you have dependents, then you should include them in this fee waiver application, the same as how you would complete in your limited leave to remain application. And even though you can pay for one, you can also make an application for the rest of the applicants. Okay, so if you can only afford for one fees but not all the rest, then you can also complete this application. Doesn't mean you have to apply all of you, or doesn't mean you have to apply for all of you, or don't apply. You can also just pay some of the fees and not all, and then you can just make an application using this form for the remaining applicants. Okay, now it says here, you can only make a fee waiver request if you are making an application to remain in the UK on the basis of family life or private life for the following routes. So these are the routes that that entitles applicants to claim a fee waiver, okay, to apply for fee waiver. So if you're a partner or a spouse under the 5-year route, you can also do that. As a parent under the 5-year route, as a partner under the 10-year route. On human rights ground, if you've been granted discretionary leave or leave outside the rules, and then to extend your leave as someone who was refused asylum and given discretionary leave, and then to extend your leave as a person who was previously granted leave as victim of trafficking. So these are the categories that are allowed to apply for a fee waiver. So you can see clearly here, it doesn't include the 20-year route, right? It doesn't include indefinite leave to remain. It doesn't include victims of domestic violence, which is it's a bit unfair, because usually if you are a victim of domestic violence, you wouldn't have any money if that's the situation. Not necessarily you don't have any money, but I think majority of them don't have any, access to funds if they came to the UK and left all their families behind, their jobs, and then they are finding themselves homeless, or without a job because they had to start again and move out from the family home, for example. But anyway, so it doesn't seem to let you apply for fee waiver. So it says you must apply to stay in the UK for one of the above reasons after you receive a decision on your fee waiver request. Okay, and then what you need to know before submitting a request. So it says read the guidance, which is what I've shown you earlier. So you read the guidance, and then includes who is eligible and what destitute means. So it does define what destitute means on that guidance. So get the guidance, download it, read it. And if you don't understand English, okay, you don't understand English and you're not sure about your level of understanding, then by all means, anyway, just download it, show it to someone who has really good English, and ask them a favor and ask them to explain whether or not you will be entitled to apply for a fee waiver. Because the guidance, if someone who can explain it to you, then you should be able to know, you should be able to assess whether or not you'll be granted the fee waiver. Okay, so this is what it says. Okay, and then it says no charge, so you don't need to pay anything to apply for fee waiver, making a request. Okay, there is no charge for making a request for a fee waiver. And then what happens next? What happens next is, if you qualify for fee waiver, you will be told by letter. This letter will include a personalized code that you enter in your application for leave to remain that shows which fee waiver you have qualified for when applying for your leave to remain application. If you qualify for fee waiver, you will also not have to pay the immigration health surcharge. Okay, so that's quite good news, right? So about the online form, the amount of time you will need to complete the request will depend on your situation. So if you are going to be inactive, you will be logged out. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video, and then we will continue on the next video so that you are prepared, and make sure that you have your passport, your details with you, your name, your previous applications, if you can have it so that it's easy, your address, your postcode, your salary, so that you can see, so that you have the details when you're completing the form. So next video, I'm going to show you how to complete it, what the questions will be, because but it's going to be a dummy application. Okay, it's going to be like I'm the one applying. All right, guys, this is it. So see you in the next video. Bye.